The other day I saw my friend Laura as well as my friend Abby call out another male creator, talks about invisible labor relationships, critique the way that they were going about giving credit. In the past 24 hours since I've been thinking about this, I thought it felt like a good time to share with y'all my journey as a man, as a dad, as a partner, as a feminist, as an invisible labor coach, as an ally, as a recovering man-child, what my influences have been and what that journey has looked like. Everything that I say is some version of a regurgitation of a book that I've read or content creators that I've watched or people in my life. I've done my best to put my own seasoning and sauce and storytelling along with the concepts, but I'd like to share with you a little bit of what this journey has looked like. And I might give you a short list of my book recommendations. I'm going to go in reverse chronological order. So I'll start this past year, 2024. I would say there's one book that made a difference this year, entitled by Kate Mann. I much better understand now what misogyny versus sexism is and how it's showing up in our lives. 2024 was my first year as a invisible labor coach, doing this full time. A lot of what I've learned has come from years before. 2023, there were 2 books and a creator. Just over a year ago, I met Paige for the first time. I think what I've learned from her in the past year versus a lot of us men that talk about the same things. Earlier in 2023, I'll give an honorable mention here to Gemma Hartley's Fed Up. Gave a different context and flavor to a handful of the things I learned in previous books. The one that really rocked me was this one, Emotional Labor by Rose Hackman. And also in early 2023, I discovered Liz Plank in For the Love of Men. Fantastic read for any man and woman for that matter. Liz has really helped me shift the way that I see the challenges that men go through every day and where I can be a safer space for men to evolve inside of. Now, 2023 was a big blow up year for me. Went from about 100,000 followers on TikTok to about 900,000 across 4 platforms. I got a lot of reps in talking about mental load and emotional labor that year. And I learned a lot from about 4 or 5 creators in one book. 2022, I was introduced to Fair Play. I'd already been talking a lot about my first year of being a father. This book helped me start to articulate what mental load and invisible labor were. I even started making a few videos for Fair Play. This book is the cornerstone of all the coaching that I do. But I would not have gotten here if it weren't for 2021 and these creators on TikTok. I'm going to start with my friend Abby. Abby is one of the 2 people that recommended I read Fair Play. She was also one of the early creators that gave me a lot of self-confidence in talking about what I was talking about in terms of positive masculinity. I'm super excited to see her crack 100,000 on Instagram finally, after having to restart her account multiple times. Next is Kaylee Cresta. Not only was I impressed with her ability to monologue straight with both academic language and the level of sass that just makes you say, damn! But I could always tell behind her passion that she has a deep care for men changing and us being the best version of ourselves. Next, I want to talk about my friend Renee, who does the Mom Room podcast. Those 2 viral videos talking about Spider-Man and Ernie and the comment reply with the green turtleneck, as well as Pancake Gate. She significantly helped me shape my understanding of default parenting and an appreciation for moms that parent full-time. And last is Laura. Laura was also a huge cheerleader for me, helped me understand weaponized incompetence, helped me see where I was being mediocre, and helped me see misogynistic comedy for what it was. Now, 2021 is when our child was born. I started making my first dad content, had my first followers, which turned into a very quick mom audience. And I think that's what put all these people in my algorithm, who I'm super grateful for. Before 2021, before Alyssa was pregnant, there are 3 other influences I wanted to share. In 2017, I read Cinderella Ate My Daughter by Peggy Orenstein, which really helped me see how much marketing plays into the girly girl stuff. This book was a huge influence and inspired me to put up this flag in my classroom back when I was a high school math teacher, which was the flag for women's suffrage, to remind the girls in my class, even if the math and engineering majors were male dominated, they absolutely belong at that seat at the table. Which is a good segue into this gem that I discovered in 2016 and was definitely one of the first times I had really heard a woman outside of my mom talk about male privilege or help me better understand the inequalities that women face. Which brings me to my last 2 most important influences, my wife Alyssa and my mom. Alyssa has had a commitment for years for me being the best version of myself and holding me accountable to being that, bringing up tough conversations when I need it, and holding boundaries for her to have the partner she deserves. And my mom, she calls herself a humanist, but mom, let's be real, you're a feminist. I made a video recently, the Feminist Fit Check, where I was talking about the male privilege of wearing a suit, where I wasn't going to be judged on my looks. I didn't have to take hours to do my makeup. I could run. I don't have to wear heels. I have temperature regulation with the suit. In that comment section, I can't tell you how many people said, I've never heard a man say these things. My mom has been drilling this into my head since I was 13, probably earlier than that. To give you a snapshot of my mom, if y'all remember that saying / meme of like, nevertheless she persisted, almost all of her woman friends, she found old pictures of them, put those pictures on a mug with the saying, nevertheless she persisted. What I do for work today, I think, is a manifestation of what she's been purposefully or accidentally grooming me to do since I was a kid. When Alyssa got pregnant, my mom asked me, hey, are you going to be pregnant with her? And I knew what that means. Do you know what that means? What she meant was, Zach, if she stops drinking alcohol, are you going to also stop drinking alcohol? If she is going to not drink caffeine, are you also going to not drink caffeine? If she's not going to take Tylenol or ibuprofen or drugs, are you also going to not take drugs too? And my answer to her question, of course, Mom. I think that's an example of where I understood what emotional labor was before I had the word for it. I hope and aim to be a positive influence, a useful ally for the feminist movement and for the empowerment of women and moms and girls everywhere. I know I still have a long way to go, and I know there's going to be some unavoidable issues, which are that I am not suffering from invisible labor not being done for me the way that women are. And because I've decided to take this as a full-time job, I am being compensated to teach men and hold them accountable for learning for things their wives are already saying to them. Thank you to all my mentors.